Let's go. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's Kendall here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, home skillet biscuit? It's the best day of the week. It's Saturday. It's Bad Movies and a Beat Day, the series on my channel where I talk about bad movies while putting my makeup on.
Sorry, I can only search.
Shut up, Siri. You never help me when I need your help, but you're always in my business. God. Last week, we took a trip to Breenville, and we discussed his what the hell am I even watching classic Fateful Findings. This week we're talking about a film that I actively avoided watching. I felt like I was getting advertisements all over my YouTube. Netflix kept recommending it to me, which was confusing because the only thing I watch on Netflix are like sitcoms. Even though I had like a super low "you'd probably like this" rating on it. Today we're looking at another one of these Fatal Attraction-esque movies. The Obsessed Lover or the Obsessed Admirer. We're looking at Secret Obsession. Before we get started, I will say, I do like a good Fatal Attraction-esque movie. Well, I like Fatal Attraction. Beehive, I always want to come for somebody, but Obsessed was garbage. And if you care so much for Beyonce, what happened to Darion? Exactly. But this movie did objectively look worse than many of these other ones. Like, it looked especially bad. But I said to myself, the movie looks horrible, but you love to raise your own blood pressure about things that don't make sense. Why would you pass up this opportunity? And I said, self, you right. Let's get into it. The main character is Jennifer, played by Brenda Song. And having an Asian protagonist in a movie like this, I was like, oh, that's cool. I was thrilled but also swiftly disappointed, and I'll explain more later. It's cool to see lesser represented minorities doing these kind of movies, like mainstream movies, so to speak. Problem is, though, this movie is so bad. It's so bad. Almost to the extent it's not even comical. But also, a movie like this, where her Asianness is not focused, they also had to basically erase it, though. Like, she had to be suitably Asian. Asian light. I'll explain more about that later, but it was something that pointed out to me. I was like, okay, all right. But the movie begins, as movies do. It starts off with Jennifer running in the rain, seemingly escaping someone who's chasing after her. And how do I put this? Immediately, I was like, is this a Wong Fu production? Because it looks so bad for a movie. Like, not bad for, like, if it were a YouTube skit, it would make sense. It's like, oh, wow, this is a really high-budget YouTube skit. Basically, this entire movie is, like, one very long 10 million subscriber plus YouTube sketch, you know? It's like, oh, wow, that's really good if this were free and I didn't have to pay a subscription for it. That's it. It looks like one big Lele Pond sketch. Story of my life. My eyelids don't match, but why am I still surprised? Anyway, Jennifer runs to a payphone in 2019, and that payphone does not work, so she has to run into a bathroom, and there's this super cliche scene where she's like hiding in the bathroom, and the killer slowly stalks up to each stall, and somehow she mystically is not in any of the stalls and is able to get away. Hold up, she drove here? Did the car break down? No? Then why did this woman leave her car to go to a payphone in 2019 instead of just driving to civilization where she could find help? We got us another Spot the Stupid movie. Yes, I love it. I honestly must have a masochistic streak because movies like this are so exciting to me because, like, they get my blood boiling. They get me ravenously angry. I think the thing that makes me mad is because I feel like the writers literally, for some of these scenes to even get to the point that they're on screen, they literally sat there and was like, they ain't gonna notice. Like, that's the whole feeling of most of this movie. We're just here for the ride. Anywho, Jennifer gets hit by a car. Noticing that as a pattern too. What's that all about? Is that just a hallmark of a crappy movie? Like, someone must get hit by a car within the first 3 minutes? Jennifer is rushed to the most incompetent hospital ever made. And that is where we meet Russell. Like, I'm not ruining the movie, and the trailer kind of ruined it, as well as the very ominous poster. This man is not who he seems. He isn't actually Jennifer's husband. He's pretending to be him, which does not make sense for a lot of reasons I'll explain later. My issue with this dude is several fold. So many folds. One, he's a horrible actor. Just bad all around. Just awful. I don't know if that's just because he's a bad actor or because this movie is kind of hard to find your motivation, so to speak, if you know what I mean. But two, nothing makes sense in relation to him specifically. Like, the whole movie doesn't make sense, but it really don't make sense with nothing that he does or he thinks about. And it's not in that, like, oh, he's unhinged, he's crazy, so he's so unpredictable. No, it's none of that. It's just bad writing. One thing about doing bad movies in a beat is it really solidifies that anybody can make a movie. Go for it. You think you're underqualified to make your dreams come true, kids? Write that damn movie, because there's much worse out here, man. Now, depending on whether or not you've seen 24, you are seeing either the president or the Allstate guy. But in my book, he is daddy. He is fine. Too old for me, but not in good hands, but I could be, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he plays the detective that is looking into Jennifer's accident to ensure that there was no foul play, I suppose. Now that I think about it, it doesn't make sense. From what I understand, they kind of just knew that she got hit by somebody. It's kind of it. Like, I didn't understand how there was suddenly a remark of foul play, but okay. Anyway, he starts off by, like, questioning witnesses, and one of which he's questioning is, of course, quote-unquote, the husband. And he seems to be pretty much immediately suspicious of Russell.
I'm trying to piece together what your wife was doing at a rest area with no ID, alone, in the middle of the night.
Actually, now that I think about it, why did they have a detective at all? And the detective was the one to notice that she had defense wounds. So it wasn't just that she got hit by a car, but she also had wounds that showed that she was fighting someone off. So if he's the one that noticed it, no one else noticed it. Therefore, they would not have gotten a detective to look into it. It would have just been an accident where she got hit by a car. You get what I'm saying here? Okay, but even when Jennifer wakes up, the questions do not end because the accident resulted in Jennifer losing her memory, okay? Did I say cliches? Yeah. So she lost her memory, and now her husband waits all night to make sure that she's okay. And when the doctors come to tell him that she is out of surgery and that she's awake, his knee-jerk response is to see her. We know that he's the bad guy because, again, they spoil it in the trailer and everywhere, right? Why does he want to see her? Right? Because he just lucked out that she lost her memory. Until he is told that she doesn't have her memory, he thinks she does. Why would he want to see her so that she can identify him? But no, he's super adamant. He was like, I want to know, is everything okay? And then he finds out that she lost her memory.
Are you saying my wife doesn't remember me? No, don't give me possible. Does my wife know who I am or not?
Like, did he know that she would not have her memory? Like, was he able to tell into the future that, oh, I can set a plan in motion where she doesn't have her memory so I can, pretend to be her husband? Like, how did he know that she wouldn't remember what he looks like or even that she would get amnesia at all? He had enough time to get the original Russell's lighter and to edit himself in all of her photo albums. Also to take said photos and put them in frames around their house. And it's not like he doubled back and went back home to do all these things because he stayed in the hospital all night waiting for her to recover. They wanted to show that cute little montage. Okay, another example of the writers just sitting there thinking, yo, dumbass ain't gonna figure that out. Anyway, there's a whole getting better montage, at the end of which she gets the okay to leave. And this hospital, being the great establishment that it is, tells her on the way out, here's a cane, walk around a little bit.
I'm sending you home with a cane, too. I want you to use it to walk, like 2 or 3 minutes a day, okay?
As opposed to having that as part of her physical therapy while getting better. They just say, hey, you can walk a little bit, even though you've been in a wheelchair this entire time. Now, Russell and Jennifer end up going back to their home. And again, because this movie thinks I'm stupid, they expect me not to ask some basic questions like, what does he think is gonna happen? Like, he knows that her memory loss is temporary. So, like, when she regains her memory, what was he gonna do? Also, there's a lot of scenes where he's, like, pressing to see if she remembers more. And also giving her advice on things to do to re-jog her memory as if that would benefit him. Speaking of this movie thinking I'm stupid, there's also this very, very pointless character. And when I say pointless, I dead ass mean it.
Can I help you, sir? I'm here about the young woman that was in that car accident a couple of nights ago.
Because you look at this film and you're like, well, who's that? And I've seen this film 3 times. I don't know. They signify he's a bad dude by playing aggressively cascading bass cello.
Mr. Khan, thanks for coming in.
But my guy literally gets killed for no reason. He also isn't revealed to be anything later. He's not revealed to be really important later or had some deeper meaning. No, he just gets killed. In the stupidest way, too. Literally, Russell comes out of nowhere, says, stay away from my wife, and then he beats him on his front lawn. And at first I was like, maybe this is the back. No, those are cars on the street. So he's on the front lawn, beating the crap out of him, screaming, stay away from my wife. And yet no one saw him? This movie is hella dumb. Anyway, Russell and Jennifer try to kind of piece together pieces of her memory, and eventually they start to get closer. I don't think that's the right word I want to use. Like, Jennifer is still having flashes of her memory coming back of her being attacked by someone with a knife. But she can't really say where that's coming from or who that is. But she does start to notice some just weird things about Russell. And she grows subsequently more suspicious of him. There's a scene where Russell and Jennifer are about to have sex and she suddenly feels just icky about it. She's like, something's wrong, you know? He gets all salty and hella creepy and gross about it. Not only is he a murderer, but oh my god, he's so entitled too. Gross. But this also brings up my original question. What did he expect to really come of this? Because like I said, he knows that her memory is going to come back at some point, right? What did he think he was going to get? Sex? How do I put this? He's a murdering psychopath. It wouldn't be so hard to believe that he's a rapist as well. So if it was sex he was looking for, that doesn't really make sense. Is it just to get the Jennifer wife experience TM? I don't know. If so, why push her to remember things as if that would be of any benefit to you? Is he just gonna act like her husband until she remembers? No. Spoiler alert, she survives the entire movie despite being a complete and utter dumbass. Fast forward and Detective Daddy has... I actually don't know what his real name is. So Detective Daddy has a lead that takes him to Jennifer's parents' house after he finds out that her maiden name is Allen. Question, why aren't Asians allowed to be Asians in these movies? Movies with Asian leads, but everyone else is non-Asian. They never are allowed to just be Asian, right? They're always like half white, or they have very randomly Western last names. Just something to think about. Y'all love making movies that make minorities more palatable, but okay. But anyway, Detective Daddy finds her parents both dead in bed, and they had apparently been there for a long time, which begs to question how no one had found them yet. I mean, it's possible, but it's like, man. Also, no one smelt them. They've been there for a minute. They've been fermenting. Like, that's not funny. It's assumed that Russell has killed her parents. It's never properly explained why he killed her parent. Like, it seemed kind of random. You don't see them at any point, or really what they have to do with anything, so why he killed them in particular. Anywho, as the movie progresses, Jennifer becomes more and more suspicious of Russell, and more of the puzzle pieces start to, piece together. She's seen him suspiciously burying stuff in the middle of the night. She's noticed that a photo of hers seems to be altered because the reflection doesn't match the color of his hair. And also she keeps getting flashbacks of someone trying to stab her or someone stabbing people. So she just feels icky, She just has that feeling, I guess. But she finally realizes that Russell isn't who he seems because she finds a bunch of undoctored photos, so with her actual husband Russell in them, and also saw that this random person has been editing over them and pretending to be her husband. Oh my god, that's crazy. What? This guy is actually named Ryan, and he was a co-worker of both Jennifer and the actual Russell, who had an unhealthy obsession with her that led him to kill the actual Russell. But with this newfound knowledge, does she go and make a run for it? Does she try to escape, alert the authorities? No, because she's an idiot. This is the second time he has left her alone while she has suspicions of him not being the coolest dude, right? Why hasn't she just left? And not in that like Stockholm syndrome type of way, like someone who's been abused can't leave because there's an emotional attachment. Not that, because that would make more sense to me. No, she has no emotional attachment to this dude. She didn't really like him for most of the movie, and she didn't even remember who he was. So it's not like she has some emotional attachment. And now she has perfect evidence that this dude is a creeper, if nothing else. Leave? Just leave, I guess, is what I'm saying. That would make sense. I don't know. Like, yeah, she has a busted ankle, but she's been, like, getting along pretty well moving-wise around the house. So if it's for, like, I don't know, your life, I think you can at least attempt to go through that forest there. But instead, she hobbles into the front yard looking for a signal instead of just going to any of the forest around her. Anywho, Ryan hits her with a rock, and it's supposed to be this super dramatic climax where she finally confronts him because she knows who he is. And boy, did they drop that ball. That scene was very anticlimactic.
Who the hell are you?
What do you mean?
What did you do to my husband?
Like, the whole movie was pretty terrible, but Jesus. Ryan ties her bad ankle up to the bed. Not very tightly, I might add. If she weren't an idiot, she could get out of that. There's like a filler scene, and we come back to Jennifer, and she's dead ass asleep. She took a nap. It was that difficult. Girl, there's one fold. Like, it'll hurt, but God. Brilliant protagonist. We love beautiful, intelligent female representation. Anyway, she wisens up and eventually gets free, or at least semi-tries to run away. I don't know. And she ends up hiding in the back of their car when Ryan returns home. He opens the trunk to show the actual Russell is dead. Low-key kind of funny. He just opened it just to make sure he's, still dead. Then this next part made me mad. She has the ability to run away again because she has a million of them, and instead of taking it, she decides to hobble her wobbly ass back up the stairs to act like, oh my God, I didn't go anywhere. Why didn't you just By the time it takes him to figure out that you're gone, you could have been in the forest, you could have been anywhere. You're an idiot, and this movie wouldn't exist. This movie's stupid. Someone's at the door, and for some reason he's an idiot, so he doesn't think to gag her, but she's also an idiot because she didn't think to make a sound. And it's Detective Daddy, who is also an idiot because he has a lot of evidence to suggest Russell, or Ryan, is not who he seems, that he's lying about his identity and probably some more nefarious things, and he probably had something to do with the death of those parents there. But does he come up with backup, or with his gun ready and waiting? No. So instead of being good at his job, he just ends up getting oops upside the head. Shout outs to the Gap Band.
Oh, let me get away!
We are really starting to have some trust issues here, aren't we?
Ooh. Low-key think this was just made by some yandere roleplay fanatic.
Really starting to have some trust issues here, aren't we?
My psycho boyfriend ASMR wet dream. Ryan ties her up with rope and lights a candle right next to it because he's smart. Lays down next to her and tells her each point of his nefarious plans that he's had thus far. Like Mojo Jojo.
I took care of anyone that could get in my way. Fate gave me a chance. Now, with a clean slate, I could give you the life that you always deserved.
He then blows out the candle. He too is a dumbass, so he leaves the lighter within reaching distance to a girl that's tied up with rope.
Jennifer!
I guess crazy makes you have a head of steel because he's just like, oh, that was inconvenient. And he's also not bleeding or passed out because it's a movie, sis. It's a movie. Also, another wonderful trope that y'all refuse to fix is doors locking from the wrong side. What bedroom door locks from the outside? Detective Daddy is alive. My guy has killed, 3 people now? But the guy with a gun and authority to arrest him and is able-bodied, yeah, he keeps him alive. Okay. Jennifer finally makes her way through that freaking forest. There's a little tussle between the detective, her, and Ryan, Russell, whatever. She shoots him. Yeah, that's the movie. Honestly, if I didn't make this series, I'd be a lot more pissed about having watched this movie. I felt like I was stolen an hour and 37 minutes out of my life. Thank God for YouTube, where I can make money off of this foolishness. God bless. Amen. If you like this video, be sure to like this video. If you haven't seen any of the other movies in our Bad Movies in a Beat playlist, those will be linked up above. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. And I will see you guys next time.